Yeah, first of all, I welcome all of you to webinar on buildings and relevant subjects importance in civil engineering course. So everybody studying about civil engineering or they are about to finishing their graduation. So, but they're not familiar why we have studied these many subjects and what is the importance in the real-time scenario. I mean, in field or whatever maybe when we are working. So I just want to give clarity on which subject is useful where and how it is interrelated each subject so that who is studying third year and final year, they can focus on the specific subject or specific area. Whoever completed already, they can concentrate on the job opportunities and role and responsibilities, right? Generally, it is called as a job description, right? And job role. So you will get some idea what are the jobs available in the field and what is our role and what we need to do and how we need to do. So we'll get these things also. So my main focus is that I want to give a overall complete picture about the building sector. So what are the subject is related to buildings in the earlier we studied in civil engineering course or we are pursuing, some people are pursuing, so that they can interrelate. I mean, they can correlate what is the subjects one each one another is so means interrelated, how it is interrelated each subject and what are the subjects we required while executing the real-time projects. So I want to give more details about this one. So if you want still more in the subject, we can see that in other sessions, but I'm limited to the subjects and main things in that subjects and how it will be related to the real-time scenario, right? So if you are taking as a building sectors, we know we have the different types of buildings like small houses to the towers like 100 and 150 floors buildings also. So these are called generally buildings. We in that we have different classifications like residential building, commercial buildings and industrial buildings and institutional buildings and hospital buildings, communal buildings. Like that we have so many types of buildings is there. But when we are talking into the engineering, we need to consider scale of the project, because if it is a small building, individual house like 2 BHK or 3-bedroom house, kitchen, so we don't need that much of engineering skills and we won't utilize engineering services there also. So when we are talking about engineering, you have to imagine that we are working with 100 crores or 1000 crores or 10,000 crores like that projects only. You have to imagine that price, so that where we utilize our engineering skills real time. So if you are considering a small building that is around cost around 20-30 lakhs rupees in India, so we won't utilize much engineering to that buildings, right? So generally we take a plan from the architect and we'll execute from our own, or we'll give some contract to the masons or labor, some labor contract we'll take, and with that help we'll buy the material and we'll execute ourselves also. Like that we have the different possibilities there. But when we are going to the real-time projects like a 100 floors building, we cannot do like that. That's what we required really all civil engineering knowledge and skills and remaining whatever the resources like manpower, material and machinery, everything we utilize there properly. So you have to imagine and you have to consider when we are talking about the projects, like it is a more than 100 crores in India. And if you are going abroad or somewhere other countries, you have to consider like a big projects only in the building sector. So that is our first concern about the buildings. And next, why we required engineering? That may be civil engineering, that may be electrical engineering, that may be electronics engineering, that may be anything. What is the reason for that? Why we need to study the engineering? So generally, these are the two reasons. One is the safety and economy. Safety and economy means when we are constructing any buildings, when we are considering about here buildings, that's what I'm explaining about buildings. So first first concern is a safety. So whenever we are constructing building, that should be confined to the safety. That may be resistance from the earthquakes, that may be resistance from the wind loads, that may be resistance from the any other forces. That should be withstand for the long time. That may be design life 100 years or some maybe 70, 80 years, like that. Whenever we design a project for their lifetime, that should be uh, give safety to the users. Users means like whatever maybe we are using the purpose like residential or commercial or whatever maybe, whatever purpose we are using, that should be confined to the that purpose with safety. And what is the economy? Economy means, so whatever we are spending money on that project, that should be minimal. That is called economy. So it is a simple word, economy, but it has a more impact in engineering point of view. So for example, when project cost is 100 crores and we are minimizing with our designs and our engineering. So for example, we are reducing the 20% of the project cost, right? So when we are seeing only, this is a point of view, money point of view, 20 crores. Everybody thinking that we are saved 20 crores. But in depth, if you are seeing that, so we are minimizing the 20 crores of the materials also, right? So we are reduced in the coarse aggregate, we are reduced in the fine aggregates, we are reduced in the cement and machinery, manpower, and everything we are minimized. So that impacts in the environmental point of view. Means we are reducing production of the cement 20%, and we are exploitation of the natural resources by 20%. Like that, we have to understand when it is coming word economy word, that is the meaning of the economy. Means when we are getting 20% cost reduction in the project cost, so we are reducing on the materials and other resources also. So that is the actual meaning of the economy. And next point is the progress towards the sustainable development. So when we are achieving all these things, and when we are using our engineering skills, and we are minimizing the materials, whatever we are using, and finally it will be leads to the sustainable developments. Sustainable development means, so whatever the material we want to use, and we want to utilize with the maximum efficiency, right? So for example, we are using a steel, and if it is a we are utilizing the proper grade and properly treated steel, it will give the more life. So in case the same reverse, if it is not properly treated, and if it is not quality, if we are not maintained quality, and it will be corroded, and it will be lost their life before actual design life. So again, we need to replace. For that, again, it will be we need natural resources. So like that, so when we are talking about sustainable development, means we need to utilize whatever the material we are using for a maximum efficiency. Like for that only we are designing. Whatever we have the subjects we are going to study, is that is the only purpose of the this thing, right? So we see the what are the subjects, and what is the things further down line. Means in the again 4 or 5 minutes we'll take for that, going to that session. So first we need to understand why this session. Generally, I want to give the overall idea about building engineering, and planning and architectural and structural analysis and designing and estimation and costing, and decision making, and tendering and contracts, and execution or construction, and after that maintenance also. So orally you will get these knowledge about these sectors or these areas. So with this session you will get overall idea about these things. So generally, if you are dividing civil engineering into two broad sectors, one is planning and designing, and second is the construction. One is the paperwork, second one is the real execution. So in these two segments only, our engineering will be practically happening. So not only civil engineering, remaining engineering also happens similar thing only. So they will be designing, and after the completing designing, they will be the executing. So like that here also in civil engineering, we have the planning and designing, and after that we have the construction, right? So here buildings and related. So we want to correlate our curriculum to the real-time projects. So that is our main aim. And now we are going to see what are the subjects are relevant to the building sector. So these are some examples: skyscrapers and high-rise buildings, multi-storied buildings, office buildings, like that. These are examples of the some projects. So you just imagine, and if you want to execute a real-time projects, and what are the subjects you require, just imagine yourself, or you recall what are the subjects you studied earlier. Right? I'm going to giving the subject's name in order. So first we do the surveying. So for that we have the surveying subject in our curriculum. And after that, doing surveys, we develop the drawings. So for that we have the drawings. And the next one is the planning. So this is the building planning, we have the separate subject, and the general planning, we have the separate subject. Some studied in the bachelor's level, or some people will be studying in the master's level, right? So in the planning, we have the like examples, master plans, land layouts, and so many things will be there. And that I will give you the details. So next one is the soil and subsoil and geotechnical information we required. So for that we have the soil mechanics or geotechnical subjects is there. And the next one is a building planning. There we have the separate subject. And apart from that, building planning, apart from that building planning, I suggest you to go for the NBC, I mean National Building Code, and local GOs, means wherever you are in the state, that state government GOs you need to study, and bills and acts we need to study. Then only you can practice in real time. And the next one is the structural analysis. So for that you have structural analysis 1 and 2, and we have the advanced structural analysis also. These subjects covers the structural analysis part. And we require designing also. So for the designing, we require basic technology, I mean basic concrete technology, as well as the we have other subjects like DRCS, design of reinforced concrete structures, or we have the other in other universities they have named as a reinforced cement concrete. So like that we have the subjects for the designing, and apart from that we have the steel structures also for steel structure designing, and we have the drawings and the reports preparation, and we have the drawings and reports will be covered under your project work also. And next one is the estimation and costing, one more important thing. because whenever we are designing and whatever we are doing, finally we require estimation and costing of the project. Based on that, that only we will be deciding. So we need to take up a project on which mode, and when we need to take up, and what is a financial requirement, and what is the financial model suitable for that project, and what is the sources of finance. So like that, it will be entirely depend on the estimation costing only. So that is one more thing. After that, again we have the tendering, and this is a paperwork up to this level. This is the paperwork, and we can say as a designing, planning and designing. After that, again survey will be coming. So it will be gives a marking and marking for execution of the work. So apart from that, we have the subjects covered, like construction material. We have the separate subject for some people, and some people studied in the construction practice only. So like that, we have the separate subject. Construction practice is there, and concrete technology is there, and advanced concrete technology also there, and construction management is there. So again, we have the some curriculum is covered, mechanical, electrical, plumbing also, but in some universities curriculum not covered this thing, and maintenance also, repairs and retrofitting also, they have the electives in the some courses, and some people don't have any these subjects for in their curriculum. But overall, these are the all subjects which is useful in the building sector. So we will connect each one, how it will be important in our sector, and how it will be related to us as an individual level. So what happened really, and what we need to know, and how we need to improve our skills and knowledge, so that we will be excel in the industry. So right. So generally surveying, they have the separate people. They're exclusively working on the surveying. So their aim is that they need to transfer the data from ground to paper. So means they use some instruments, and they will capture the all physical features on the ground, and they will be transferring into the paper. So that is the work they do the initially, and after that the designers and planners will be take care, and after they are developing the drawings and reports, and they again the surveyor will be, they transfer the designed data to the ground. So in simple, we say that ground to paper or paper to ground. So this is a surveying objective finally. So first initially we do that, we capture the all physical features of the, that may be any project, that may be buildings, that may be roads, that may be airport, that may be railways, that may be anything. Initially they'll capture the physical features of the terrain or ground, and they'll transfer to the paper. Our paper, or nowadays we are using the softwares, right? So they will be transferring to the software. Using the softwares, they will be planning and designing, and after that again they will give the some information to the surveyors. They will be transferring again to the ground. So that is a basic objective and basic work of the surveying. So you need to understand here is that surveying team is separate, and whoever working in the survey, they'll exclusively work on the surveys, right? That point you be noted, and further we'll discuss, right? So like that, here geotechnical and soil investigations also required for our buildings. And here you need to understand, for the buildings, soil bearing capacity we consider. So for other projects, we have the different, like if we are considering the road projects, we required CBR, California bearing ratio. But now we are limiting to our building sector. You have to remember, and you have to search about the soil bearing capacity only, right? So how it will be investigated, how it will be tested, and how it will be relevant values, and what based on that, how it will be our substructure design will be happen, that you need to understand, right? So for that, you have so many technologies and so many methods and so many things is there, you explore on that. and upcoming sessions we'll discuss in detail that one. Each one topic we'll discuss separately, right? So why soil testing is important before construction means every project is depend on the soil only. So if it is a soil bearing capacity is good, and we uh, minimize our resources and based on the our soil bearing capacity. For example, if soil bearing capacity is very poor and we need to uh, more broad sections or more material we required in terms of columns, beams, slabs, and footings. So like that. And if it is a bearing capacity is less, and we required thin sections. So like that, it will be depends on entirely depend on the soil. So that's what this is a main concern in the designing. That may be any project, either roads, either buildings, or any project. Soil is a main criteria and main thing. So these are the some of the values for the reference. So like if it is a gravel and sand, like that, if it is a in ton per meter square. So 44 is the ton per meter square, and if it is the kg per, we have the here values is there, kg per kilonewton per meter square. If we are considering in kilonewton per meter square, that is a 440 kilonewton per meter square. So like that, if we are going for the a loose gravel and sand gravel mix, it is a 24.5 ton per meter square, or 245 kilonewton per meter square. So like that, when we are coming into the like this is the gravel, and when you are coming to the coarse sand, and again you are coming to the fine sand, and when you are coming to the clay and silt and clay, like that, it will be decreasing the soil bearing capacity. So whenever it is soil bearing capacity is decreasing, and we required thick sections, so that it will be required more material, and it cost of the project will be goes increasing. So you need to understand it will be inversely proportional to the project cost finally. So if soil bearing capacity is good, then project cost will be less, and we have the more chances to the failure. So if it is if it is soil bearing capacity is a less, and project cost will be the more, and more chances to the failure of the project. That you need to understand at this point, and you have to explore the remaining things in detail. So in the drawings and report section, we have the architectural plans and sections, elevations, and we have the structural drawings in that columns, beams, slabs, and staircase, foundation, footings, drawings in detail. So like section of the component, and reinforcement details, and grade of the concrete, like that they will be giving the complete details. So next is the MEP drawings, mechanical, electrical, plumbing drawings. And apart from that, we have the reports also, like soil reports and feasibility reports, and environmental assessment reports, traffic impact assessment reports. So these don't know many people, because they are working in a very small projects, and they don't know all these things. But when we are working for the very big projects, we require all those things. We should clear from the environmental impact assessment, and we should be from the traffic impact assessments. So like that, we need all. Right. So these are the sample drawings, architectural drawings. Here we have the plan, section, elevation, and this is another one is a simple format of the plans how we are preparing. So I'm just giving the for idea sake only, and these are the not standard one, but just for idea, I'm showing the some drawings. So these are the structural drawings. Here they will get the complete reinforcement details, and everything like section and remaining where they are placing the reinforcement and how it will be placing and everything. They are given the details here. So here you need to focus on a practical thing. So the remaining thing will be covered in the textbooks, but these are not covered in the textbooks. That's what just focusing on this. So building planning, it will be covering the master plans and regional plans and zonal plans and building plans and interior. So if you are considering we have a 100 acres project, for that we prepare first master plan, and again it will be, we will make a regional plans and again zonal plans, and again we have the individual building plans, and again in the individual buildings we have the interior plans also. Like that whole two part, I mean when we are considering 100 acres and again we are finally we are coming to the each individual room, like that we have the every plans. So that will be every these plans will be should be confined to the national building code in India. In India we have the reference code for the buildings is a national building code. So which is giving the complete standards for the entire India. So every state should follow the national building code only. That may be any type of building, that may be residential, that may be industrial, that may be institutional, that may be anything, that should be confined to the national building code. That's what I'm referring. Please Google and you will get the soft copy. You just study and make a points, whatever the relevant points to you while working in your sector, and you make a points on that. So it is almost 11 to 1200 pages, and refer it first and make a notes on that, so that it will be easy for you next time onwards. So for Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, we suggest you that you should go for the GO number 168. This is also I given the link, and you also Google it, you will get the soft copy. So in this, they will be customizing from the NBC national bill, and this is the reference is the NBC only for the GO number 168. So, but this is the customized to the Telangana and Andhra Pradesh state. So they given some consideration based on the towns and cities and metro cities. So they given some standards. Based on that only, you need to plan your buildings or whatever may be, that may be master plans or regional plans, general plans or building plans, or whatever may be your industrial buildings or institutional buildings, that should be confined to the this GO number 168, right? And NBC finally. So apart from that, we have the some other bills and acts also there. You refer it, and I'm giving example for the master plan. This is a master plan. Here, complete entire area will be divided into the different segments. Like this is a one segment, and this is a one segment, and this is a one segment. So these are called complete. This plan is called master plan, and these are the regional plans. And again, individual, we have the individual house plans is there, and again in that individual house, again we have the interior plans is there. So like that, we'll be developing in the all types of plans, and according to that we will executing, right? So next one is the after completing architectural and they're developing the plans. And next one is we go for the analysis after deciding the plan of the building, and we go for the structural analysis. So here we require general education is the master's degree, and they use nowadays we are using the StatPro and many softwares. Almost 40 to 50 softwares we are using the entire world for this software analysis, this structural analysis. That's depend upon the segment, like I mean sector, like a building sector and structure, I mean other special structures and flyovers, and we have the bridges, we have so many things is there. So in specific area, we are using specific softwares. Apart from that, StatPro is a very popular. Generally, we are using for the buildings. That's what here I have given. So next one is the designing. So what is analysis, what is design? Many people will be confusing and they will be thinking that analysis and designing is the same thing. So just I want to clarify. So analysis, we studied, I told you earlier, for structure analysis, we have the separate subjects like structure analysis 1, structure analysis 2, and advanced structure analysis. Like that, we have the 2-3 subjects in the bachelor's level and master's level. So here we are only analyzing the forces, right? Our only target is that analyzing the forces and movements. That is our target in the structure analysis. So for that, structure analysis 1 and 2 giving the previous history, when they started, how it is started, and how it will be modified one after one. So now finally what we use is what is the latest technology and latest system, latest method we are using. So that we need to familiarize with that one, and previous whatever we are studied, that is for the only knowledge sake. So but whatever we are using, software is the StatPro. You need to hands-on experience on that, and before that you need to understand which method is used in the StatPro. You have to get that idea also, so that uh, you will get clear about the structure analysis and about the designing. And we have the separate subjects like RCC, reinforced cement concrete, or DRCS, like design of reinforced cement concrete, or cement structures, concrete structures, design of reinforced concrete structures. So like that, we have the separate subjects for this. In here, what we are doing is that we, based on the movements, whatever we are getting from the analysis, now we are designing the columns, beams, slabs, footings, and other structural elements. So like that here, so whatever the input coming from the structural analysis, we are utilizing here is here for the design input. Whatever the we are getting output from that analysis, here we are utilizing for the input for the designing. So while designing columns, while designing beams, while designing slabs, here we are using the dead loads as well as the live loads, and we are considering the movements also. So while combination of all these things, we are designing the columns, beams, and slabs. So finally footings and staircases also we are designing. So we'll see in detail how it will be each case in the coming sessions. So but you have to understand what is the difference between the designing and what is the difference between the analysis. So analysis, we are calculating the forces and movements. Here we are designing the size of the column. For example, column design means what is the final thing? Size of the column and reinforcement details and grade of the concrete. So these are the things, main things in the column design. Like that beam also. So size of the beam, length and width and depth, and finally what are the reinforcement we are keeping in that, and what is the grade of the concrete. So these things will be in beam design also. Like that slab also, and footing also, and staircase also, right? So these are the things in the designing. And after that, again we have one more subject, that is a concrete technology, and we have one more subject, advanced concrete technology also. So in this it will be more technical. We need to understand in detail or in depth, so that only we can realize what is the value of concrete technology. So because here we have the strength depend on the mixed proportions only. Simply, if we are saying that in simple words, mixed proportions will be changing the strength of the concrete. So finally, whatever the using ingredients is the same thing, like a coarse aggregate, fine aggregate, and binding material and water. Generally, these are the only four ingredients we are using. But due to proportions changing, changing of the proportions, we are getting the we are getting the different strength. Like we have the M15, M10, M7.5, and from that M10 to M80, 90 also. So what is a M? What is 20 here? So M is a mixed proportions, and this is a 20 is a strength of that grade. So like that, if it is a M70, M80, M90, and we have more than that also. So it reflecting, finally we have to understand that with the some proportions of the whatever coarse aggregate and fine aggregate, water and binding material is there, with some proportions we are getting 20 Newton per mm square, and here again with the changing of that proportions, and we are getting M70, means 70 Newton per mm square also. So we need to understand that here one point is that with the changing the proportions, we are getting the more strength or less strength. That we need to understand, and we need to more do the more exercise on that, and we need to understand in detail that one. Here thing is that aggregate properties we need to study separately. That are the aggregate means coarse aggregates, fine aggregates, and we have some admixtures also, and different purposes we have separate admixtures also. So we are using for the delay of the setting time, sometimes early setting, and sometime for the lubrication, sometimes like different conditions we are using the admixtures also. So this is also impacting the concrete behavior. So that also we need to understand. So maybe my session will be, log out, and I will re-log in again, because we have the session for 40 minutes as a free version. After that, again, I will re-log in. So meanwhile, I will continue. After completing this concrete technology, we have one more subject is estimation and costing and tendering also there. So here our target is that we should estimate the quantities of each item, or we can say each item and each material in that item. For example, we have the different structural elements like columns, beams, and slabs. In that again we have the coarse aggregate, fine aggregate, and cement, and different materials is there. First we need to quantify the